Ivan, step out here.
You got a warrant for your arrest. Yeah, so it's for murder charges.
This is 60-year-old Illene Gowan. She is briefly seen here leaving this apartment complex with a briefcase. This is the last time she would ever be seen alive.
911, what's the address of your emergency?
So we were driving down the road to go shooting, and there is a dead body on the side of the road.
Eileen's body would be found 13 days after the last time she was seen on CCTV. Police believe she was entangled in a deadly love triangle prior to her murder. But over the course of the next several months, this cold case would turn out to be far more complicated and even more disturbing than they could have ever imagined.
Me and her broke up. She moved in with a guy, and he tried to mess with her.
And all I know is his first name's Sam. They said we told her it was a bad deal with him.
Because he's telling me if the cops get behind him, he's going to run into a tree.
Just turning westbound on Cleveland.
10-166, be advised. It's their grandfather in the car, and he's called them saying that he's possibly going to try to crash the car.
On February 13th, 2023, Illene Gowan was seen leaving her longtime job at Sugar's Diner. She had just told her daughter over a text message that she was on her way to pick up some things from her friend Mike, who she had recently moved in with after breaking up with her ex-boyfriend, Sam Bremer, only a week earlier. Strangely, she would specify that her co-worker at Sugar's Diner would be the one to drive her there. However, as Illene left her workplace, no co-worker would show up. Instead, strangely, her ex-boyfriend Sam would be the one to pick her up. Hours would go by, but Illene would never show back up to Sugar's. The owner of the restaurant, Megan, would begin worrying as to where Illene could have gone and started frantically sending her messages asking for her whereabouts. But oddly, she would receive a single message back saying, "Leave me alone, I'm done." This was very strange coming from Illene, as she almost never texted, usually resorting to phone calls, and was often extremely responsible. Something strange was going on. The day would go by, and Illene would never be seen. The following day, Eileen's daughter would file a missing persons report for Illene to the Council of Bluffs Police Department, and an investigation began. Detectives would begin collecting CCTV footage from everywhere in the town to try and fully document where Illene went the day of her disappearance. But this would be quite the lengthy process. So without anything to go by, police would start asking her family and friends. Apparently, after leaving her ex-boyfriend, Sam Bremer, a week earlier, she had stayed with her new friend, Mike Brockman, a man her family claimed had likely assaulted her the night before she disappeared. This shined a suspicious light on both of the men she was involved with, so police would bring in both Sam and Mike for interrogation and see if they could find any leads. Mike was a friend of Eilene's who met her at Sugar's and became very close over time. It was still unclear to officers what happened to Illene. At this point, for all they know, she could have just gone MIA and taken a break from her stressful life. However, if anyone would have the clues as to where she went, it would be Mike.
So basically, as you know, I talked to you on Monday, or Wednesday, I guess, was the first day I talked to you. I had received information from some of the family that you and Eileen were possibly in a relationship, or kind of sort of, she may have lived with you for a few days or a week or so. But if you could just kind of go before Monday, just kind of tell us how you guys know each other, how she ended up out there at your place, that kind of thing, and then we'll kind of move from there.
She was a waitress at Sugar's, and I knew her from in there, and I talked to her before and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then she told me, I don't know, it was like on a Tuesday or Wednesday night, that she got kicked out and she needed a place to stay. I said, well, you can stay at my place for a couple of days. days. I think it was Friday. She called me and she said, I won't be coming back. She says, we're getting back together, her and her boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And all I know is his first name's Sam. I don't know anything else about him.
Okay.
And so I didn't see her. And then she called me crying on that Saturday night. And she said, oh, we got into it. Can I come out for a day? I said, you can come back out. But you gotta be gone Monday because I can't have this. I'm single. I don't want anything like this going on.
Two initial thoughts can be made upon hearing Mike's story. On one hand, it seems like Sam was back together with Elene, so Sam would be a much stronger person of interest, as he'd likely been the last person to see her. On the other hand, Mike may have had a deep connection with Elene, meaning if he learned she got back with her ex-boyfriend just days after moving in with him, he could have played a sinister role in her disappearance. But detectives plan to let Mike tell his side of the story before confronting him about the suspicious relationship.
So I took her to work Monday morning. That'd been a week ago yesterday. Dropped her off at 5 a.m. And she was supposed to get off at, I don't know, she said 7 or 8. Her daughter was gonna pick her up. She's gonna go to her mom's and get her safe and take to her daughter's. And then she was supposed to come back to work at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, then I get a phone call from the bar saying, hey, have you seen her? And I said, I haven't seen her, I haven't talked to her, nothing. Oh, she didn't show up for work, she didn't show up. I said, I haven't heard anything. And I tried to contact her and couldn't get a hold of her. So I sent her a text message and I said, all your stuff that's bagged up is gonna be sitting behind the bar. You gotta get it, I want it out of here. I don't wanna mess with any more of this. And I never, since 5 o'clock that Monday morning, I'd never had any contact with her, phone, text, or anything. And then I didn't know anything till right before you called me that she'd come up missing.
Okay.
Mike would go on to claim that he never had any sexual relationship with Elene and that she stayed in a completely different room to him while living in his house. However, detectives know more about Mike than he thinks, and with some information Elene's close friends shared with them, they don't believe he and Elene were just friends.
Has anybody said anything to you that Eileen was saying anything about you? Have you heard anything about her making any statements about you and your behavior while she lived or was staying with you out there?
No.
So you haven't heard that she may have made a statement that you possibly assaulted her while she was out there?
No.
Okay. That statement was made to a couple people that you supposedly laid down on her bed with her and spooned her from behind. Is that?
No.
Can you tell me, is that any of that accurate? Any
No.
of those statements?
I would not do that because, like I said, she was a loose cannon and she's scared.
I mean, I guess here's the deal. You're a grown man. She's a grown woman. You know, if there was any type of whatever contact between you that was consensual, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
I mean, she was crying that first night she come out and I hugged her.
Okay.
But there was no relationship, no asking for it or anything.
This information is, well, concerning, considering it would be unlike Elene to make up blatant lies of this magnitude. However, with little to no evidence, other than a few rumors coming from her friends, police can't harp over these allegations and decide to wrap Mike's questioning up. At this point, Mike is still considered to have potential involvement in Elene's disappearance, but with a lack of leads, they direct their attention to the only other potential suspect, Elene's ex-boyfriend, Sam Bremer.
You already met Detective Dyer?
Yeah, we get first names, but
Yeah, this is Detective Dyer. I'm the sergeant that you talked to on the phone. My name's Ted Roberts. I'm a sergeant.
when I got on the phone with you, and you said that I was the last person to see her alive.
I didn't say that.
Yep.
I didn't say that.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Yes, you sure did.
I said you were the last person that saw her before she went missing.
Sam wasted no time adding more suspicion onto his name. The phone recording shows that the detective never mentioned Sam being the last to see Elene alive. Elene has been missing for less than 48 hours at this point, so the fact that he's already alluding to the idea that she's dead is awfully disturbing. But this would only mark the beginning of Sam's unsettling choice of words during the interview.
As you said that, I got the phone. I said, no, I want them to arrest me so I can have a lawyer.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I think you misheard me there. I got it recorded. I'll have to go back and listen to it. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not what I said. But I mean, basically, we got a crazy deal here where, Elene is evidently, her family and everything else, she's never done this kind of thing before. She's never just, took off and gone. They all know
What she does is she comes to me. She's moved in with me 4 or 5 times. But usually when she moves in with me, she stays away from home.
Yeah, because they said they talk every day. The daughter and her talk every day on the phone or whatever she says. Yeah.
If they need something, then they'll get a hold of her.
Okay.
Just like when she got arrested for a DWI, she went to jail. They finally bailed her out. What did they do? They took her and dropped her off at the bar.
Okay.
And then she was homeless.
Okay. If you could, I just need to know what went on Monday morning. What happened Monday morning with you?
She texted me.
Okay.
And wanted to know if I would come and get her, because one of her friends supposedly was supposed to come and get her, and supposedly ran out of gas. So
did she tell you the friend's name or?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I got there, and I said, "I'll be there in a minute." She goes, "Don't come inside. I don't want Megan to know that we're back or you're with me." I said, "Okay." And I pulled up. She gets in the truck. We take off, run out to this. Supposedly the one that tried to do something with her, and dropped her off there. Then I left, and then wasn't too long after that is when she called me. I think she was at my house knocking. You can't get in my apartment building unless you have a key to get in. But I think she was knocking on my window. I didn't look. I didn't care. I just wanted to lay down and take a nap. That's when she texted me, wanted to know if I could talk to Emmy about letting her move back in, because this guy, now that's true.
When?
That night.
The night before Monday?
The night before Monday, yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know if that was true or not. I don't know if she was just saying that to get me to take her back or what. I don't know.
Okay.
This statement adds more weight to Elene's allegations towards Mike. If Mike did do these things to Elene, then moving out and staying with Sam would be completely logical. On top of his statement, what Sam is about to reveal to detectives will make the allegations much harder to dismiss and place all the suspicion back on Mike.
And she says, "Please talk to Emmy, see if I can come back home." He me last night. "Sam, I love you. I promise I'll quit drinking. Please give me another chance." And she says, "I'm hanging out with her," and this was at 1:22.
What's it say?
And it says here, "I'm hanging out with a friend. I will get a hold of you later. I'm not going to work. I'm not going back to work."
Back at 2, right?
I think 2 or 3.
Yeah, okay.
I can't remember.
Okay.
And then to go to work, go back there. They treat me like shit. And then she says, "You've seen it." They have. I mean, but I can't say nothing. And then I said, "Why are you telling me? Why didn't you tell me this earlier when I was talking to you? You're drunk. You're drunk, ain't you? Be honest. That's why I can't do this no more. Please, do not call me no more, text me no more. I'll be friends with you at work." And that's where she got pissed off. Said, "You."
Based on these texts, it really seems like Elene's disappearance was just a way for her to take a break from her traumatic life. If the allegations are true and her ex-boyfriend refused to give her a place to stay, well, then running away for the time being is completely reasonable. Sam's story seems solid so far, but there's one tiny detail that just doesn't quite add up. And this detective has just picked up on it.
But you said you dropped her off in front of Mike's house
Yeah.
and you watched her walk into the...
All she did was she got out and then she walked in front of the truck, and she walked in front of the truck. I went up, turned around, and that's when I left.
Okay, so you didn't see her get into the house, anything like that?
Mm-hmm.
So if she had walked away from there, I mean, that's quite a ways away from your apartment complex. I wonder how she would have gotten to you.
Apparently some friend was supposed to come and pick her up.
Sam claims the day of Elene's disappearance, he drove her from her workplace at Sugar's Diner over to Mike's house to get her belongings. After that, he drove off, assuming she was to be picked up by one of her friends. Fortunately, police can easily cross-reference these claims using surveillance footage. At this point, the majority of the CCTV camera footage has been obtained from the day of Elene's disappearance, so detectives quickly wrapped up Sam's interview so that they could further investigate his claims. Additionally, the detective would apologize for assuming Sam's earlier word choice was suspicious. After nearly 48 hours of compiling the surveillance footage from around the town, officers managed to put together a complete timeline of Sam and Elene's car ride. At 8:30 a.m. on February 13th, Elene would patiently wait at her work, Sugar's, for Sam to pick her up. Elene needed a ride to go and purchase a new apartment, since Mike had kicked her out. She would tell her boss and daughter that a friend was picking her up because she didn't want anyone to know her and Sam were back together. Elene and Sam would first drive to her mother's apartment, Dudley Courts. She would be seen carrying a suitcase-like object out from her mother's apartment, then leaving with it. This would turn out to be a safe containing $1,200, which she had planned to use as a down payment for an apartment. At 9:30 a.m., they would drive directly to the Sherwood apartment complex to purchase the apartment. However, the complex happened to be closed, so they were unable to purchase anything. This is where the timeline starts to deter from Sam's claims in the interrogation room. From 9:45 to 10:30 a.m., Sam's car can be seen driving all across town. He went in multiple circles and even made a quick stop to Burger King at 10:30. However, he never drove Elene to Mike's house like he had claimed. In fact, Sam's car can be seen driving in the opposite direction to Mike's house the entire morning. This is concerning, but it would only get worse. For the next 2 hours, Sam's truck goes off the grid. It's completely unknown where he went, and no CCTV cameras had managed to capture his location. Luckily, at 1 p.m., his truck would appear back on the same streets he circled on for hours that morning, and eventually, he would make his way back to his own home at the Cottonwood apartment complex. But things were different in all the recordings past 1 p.m. Elene was no longer with Sam. Cameras had clearly captured that Sam was nowhere near Mike's house the entire day, so why would he feel the need to lie about where he dropped Elene off? This footage paints Sam out to look awfully suspicious. And while both Sam and Mike have some strong dirt to their name, Sam's clear lies convince officers to bring him back to the station the very next day, this time to confront him on his false alibis. Unbeknownst to detectives, this very interview would spark a months-long game of cat and mouse involving a high-speed pursuit, unsettling clues, and a chilling discovery.
The other day when we were in here, you told me that you got a phone call from her and you went to pick her up from work. So if you could do me a favor and just kind of go through that timeline again. We know that it was somewhere right around at 8:30. So if you can just kind of go through that timeline again as far as...
I'm not too sure on the time.
Okay.
But anyway, she texted me that morning, and I didn't text her back. I called her, and she wanted to know if I would come and get her, because some girl was supposed to pick her up, and she ran out of gas. So I went and picked her up, and she got in the truck. I left, and she wanted to talk to me about helping her get in the apartment, because she lived in the same apartment building I did, but she didn't pay her rent, so she got kicked out. Mm-hmm. So, but she didn't want to go home right away. So me and her just went right down Broadway, and then she wanted to stop at her mom's house. I stopped at her mom's house, and she was in there for, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes. She come out of there, got back in, and then we was going back down Broadway, just talking some more. And she promised me, she wanted me to drop her back off at his house. But she made me to promise I wouldn't do nothing to him, and I told her I promised. As a matter of fact, when we get there, you just get out, you walk in front of the truck, I'll go turn around and I'll leave. And she says, okay.
Okay, so you went up there, you dropped her off, then what'd you do?
And as soon as I pulled up, and she didn't want me to go in the driveway in case he was there.
Okay.
And she got out of the truck. When she got out of the truck, she walked in front of the truck, and that's when I went straight, turned around, and came back.
Okay.
And I hit straight home.
So you went back down to the highway, went back down to Kingsville?
You left her there?
Huh?
You left her there?
Yeah.
Or you...
No, she got out of the truck. She didn't want me to come in.
Just a second ago, you said she went in, grabbed clothes, came back out to your truck, and you guys left again.
No. That was at her mom's house.
Clearly, Sam is lying about where he was the day of Elene's disappearance. The detectives know it, and it seems like Sam is starting to realize he won't be able to keep up his fake story for much longer. Even after being told that cameras show him nowhere near Mike's house the entire day, Sam insists on his story that he did in fact drop Elene off at Mike's house. With this, the detectives would take a brief break from the room to watch the footage over again, just to triple check that Sam is 100% lying. And to nobody's surprise, the footage showed Sam on the opposite side of town during the time he claims to have been at Mike's. So when the detectives return to the interview room, they'll use this information to try and get Sam to own up to his lies.
We got a small little snap here we need to talk to you about, okay? So you said after you dropped her off, out there off of Highway 191 at that residence, you headed back to your apartment. We checked some of our cameras, okay, and we have a camera at 36th and Broadway, and we have your truck going westbound at 9:28 a.m. going to Omaha, okay? When you pass 36th and Broadway heading west. So you didn't go home, you went over to Omaha, it looks like. Do you remember what you did or who you saw?
I don't remember going to Omaha.
Where'd you go?
I told you I went straight home. I don't remember going to Omaha.
Well, the camera doesn't lie. It's your truck and it's your license plate number.
Right.
Okay. At 36th and Broadway at 9:28 a.m. Going west toward 480. And then 1 hour later, you're coming back from Omaha and you're going eastbound coming back into Counts Bluffs. 1 hour later.
No, we're going to Omaha.
Where'd you go?
I went straight home.
Sam is stuck at this point. No matter what information detectives reveal, he will not admit to anything. At this point in the interview, all Sam has left is to simply reject everything the detectives tell him. They know Sam isn't telling the truth, but why he's not telling the truth is what remains to be seen. However, with Sam seemingly uncooperative, all detectives can do is end the interview and let Sam back onto the streets, until more concrete evidence can prove he had more to do with Elene's disappearance than he claims. But fortunately, letting Sam back onto the streets would lead them to the exact evidence that they were looking for. While law enforcement was working away at this case, another investigative group would be working in the dark. Elene's family. Everyone held hope that Elene was still alive, but with time passing, her family was demanding answers. Sam and Elene had a long history of arguments, physical assault, and much more that the family was well aware of. They knew Sam had more information about Elene's whereabouts than he had told them. So, to figure this out for themselves, Elene's son, Jack, would show up to Sam's door that same night, and he would pound on the door, and upon opening, Jack would ask the simple question, "What the hell did you do to my mom?" In Jack's words, Sam stared at him as if he had seen a ghost and then shut the door in his face. Sam panicked. Whatever he did to Elene, people were starting to catch on. Later that night, Sam would talk to his granddaughter, Emily, and would claim that he was going to harm himself so that he could go visit her deceased grandmother. This shocked Emily, as in her eyes, Elene was still alive. Quickly, she would call 911 to report everything Sam had just told her, and shortly thereafter, police would locate a drunken Sam at his local bar.
Hi, sir. How are you?
Pretty good.
Is this your vehicle?
Yes.
Hey, can I talk to you real quick?
Yeah.
Do you have any weapons or anything on you?
No.
Hey, we were called to check your welfare. Okay, I think you talked to your granddaughter earlier. and she was concerned about you, some of the statements that you made to her. I'm here for you, man. Tell me what's going on. Why are you feeling the way you're feeling?
My girlfriend, it was like a week ago, me and her broke up. She moved in with a guy, and apparently he raped her.
What's his name?
The only thing I know, he goes by Mike. Me and her broke up. She didn't have a place to go. She moved in with him. She told me Friday that he tried to mess with her. So I called my son and see if she can move back in, because he kicked us out. So I called my son and see if she can move back in with her. And then I went to his house, got her stuff, took her to my son's. And then the next morning we went to work, and then she went right back to him. So I don't know.
So what comments did you make to your granddaughter that would be concerning this evening?
I just told her I'm gonna go out and have a couple of drinks, and I love her. That's it.
Okay, did you mention something about seeing Grandma tonight?
What's that?
Did you mention something about seeing Grandma tonight?
No.
I would like for you to talk to somebody tonight. I would like for you to talk to a medical professional. Okay, I don't want to have to drag you up to the hospital, but I most certainly will. I think based off of what the granddaughter has told us tonight, and kind of the...
Oh, she call you?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah. So
she was crying when we went and talked to her. I mean, she's.
Oh really?
Yes, she was very emotional.
Her best friend and aunt are currently at the apartment because of what you said.
Wow.
based off of what they've told me tonight, I'm going to give you one of two options. You can go up willingly and talk to a medical professional tonight.
Okay.
Or I can take you up there and you'll stay there for 72 hours. Okay?
I can't have my granddaughter come get me?
No. Based off of what you've told us and what's going on in your life right now,
yeah,
you need to talk to somebody. I don't think that we would be doing our due diligence to do our job to make sure that you're not going to hurt yourself based off of what's going on with you and your girlfriend.
Right.
Okay? You need to talk to somebody tonight. Okay? And so the best course of action is to go up to the hospital, your choice, to go to talk to somebody about it tonight.
Sam's mental state was clearly deteriorating. Whatever happened to Elene, regardless of his involvement, was really getting to him. Following this, Sam would be placed in a psychiatric facility for the next 2 days, where he would undergo therapy and psychiatric care. During these 2 days, detectives would aim to gather more intel on the case, this time by interviewing the family of Elene and Sam. They'd bring in both Justin Bremer, Sam's son, and Nicole Shipper, Elene's daughter. And both of them would reveal significant details, crucial to solving the case.
This is Detective Zach Milner. I just want to get as much history as you can tell me or talk to me about when it comes to your mom. What was their relationship like over there?
Not a healthy one.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
He didn't like her drinking. He thought he could change her get her to stop drinking. I told him that he can't because she won't change for her kids. She's not going to change for a man. And he seemed to think that he could change her, so he kept trying with her, but there was things on his part and her part that were not healthy. They both had jealousy issues. He has a very short temper,
Mm-hmm.
and littlest things will set him off, and it's like ridiculous. When they were good, they were good. When it was not, I was constantly in the middle of it because she's my mom and that's my boyfriend's dad. And
They were good when they weren't drinking, especially when she wasn't drinking. She'd bicker, she'd argue, they start arguing, it just escalate. Next day, they were fine. They go to bed angry.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever see it get physical?
No, never seen it physical. He told me she grabbed him by her neck a couple times, but that was about it.
Okay. Why would he grab her by the neck?
No, she grabbed him by the neck.
Oh, okay.
It seemed like Sam and Elene had a rocky relationship, but it rarely escalated to the point of violence. And if the fights did turn violent, it was Elene doing the physical harm to Sam.
The week prior to last Monday, what was going on?
They were separated. She called me before she went missing and telling me how she don't want to get back with him because she's tired of him throwing her out for little reasons. And she's sick of not being able to have a stable home because he just gets so mad at the smallest things and just kicks her out.
Did Emily want her to go, or was it your dad that wanted him to go? Was it Sam?
My dad.
Okay.
He'd take her back, he'd kick her back out, he'd bring her back, kick her back out. So you need to stop. I mean, you guys need to just separate. So we're separate ways.
Sam's family strongly suggests that Elene was in fact the troubled one in the relationship, and Sam tried over and over to cut her out of his life. This only perplexed detectives, and simply doesn't explain why Sam's been acting so strangely following Elene's disappearance. 2 days after these interviews, Sam would be released from the psychiatric facility. Fortunately for Sam, no new leads had come out regarding Elene's death, meaning he could finally have some peace for the first time in the last week. Or so it would seem. Because on February 21st, the same day Sam was released, he would go to Walmart to restock on alcohol. However, right as Sam was about to get in his truck and leave, an off-duty officer spotted him and decided to ask some questions related to Elene. Hesitantly, Sam asked to move his truck, and then he would talk to the officer. But the moment he got into his car, Sam would slam on the pedal, nearly hitting the officer, and floor his truck down the road, flying past pedestrians. The cop would jump in his car and begin chasing Sam, who would only pick up speed as he ramped up to over 100 miles per hour down the peaceful roads of Rexburg, Idaho.
It's turning westbound on C from 22. He's now eastbound on A from 28. If that deputy's in the white Tahoe, he can light it up. It's approaching him.
The chase continued for multiple minutes, but it became clear to officers that Sam had no plans of slowing down. So the chief officer radioed in to call the chase off.
Shut it down. Shut it down.
Sam had just successfully run from the police, and while he was having the time of his life, this chase obviously made things much, much worse for Sam. Not only was he now highly suspected of murder, but is also wanted for evading arrest and reckless driving. A couple hours after his escape, he would simply return back to his apartment as if nothing had ever happened. Ironically, this would actually postpone Sam's arrest, as more officers assumed he would be hiding in a more clever place, and searched around the town instead of checking the Cottonwood apartments. In fact, the entire day would go by, and officers had no trace of where Sam could have gone. But the fun would only last for a day, and the pressure must have gotten to Sam, as the next morning he would turn himself in to police. Sam would be charged with eluding and reckless driving and would be placed in the Pottawatomie County Jail. However, Sam would only spend one night in the county jail after being bailed out by Emily. So by the grace of a miracle, yet again, Sam Bremer was back on the streets. During this time, Sam would go to the bank and hand them a large stack of cash to deposit into his account. This wad of cash would come out to be approximately $1,200, the exact amount found in Elene's safe that she had the day of her disappearance. Additionally, Sam would drive his truck over to the scrapyard. He would ask to fully dispose of it, crushing it to pieces, and even shredding it after. To make sure this got done, Sam would meticulously watch the entire hour-long process, ensuring his car was turned to dust. It couldn't be more obvious that Sam had something to do with Elene's disappearance. The lies to detectives, the disturbing comments to Emily, running from the cops, cashing in Elene's safe money, and now shredding the only potential piece of evidence he had left. On top of all of that, detectives had looked into the claims involving Mike Brockman and discovered that Mike was at work all day at Omaha, Nebraska, nowhere near Sugar's Diner where Elene was last seen. All of that leaves Ivan Sam Bremer as the final suspect. But with no direct evidence, all law enforcement could do is wait until new clues came their way.
What's the address for your emergency?
I don't really have an address. We're off the exit of Crete, Iowa, over by a public shooting area.
What's going on?
So we were driving down the road to go shooting or whatever, and there is a dead body on the side of the road.
Male or female?
It's female for sure.
On February 26th, Elene's body was found underneath a bridge just miles away from Sam's apartment. The body was unrecognizable, but the clothes matched the exact outfit Elene was wearing the day she had disappeared. Someone had killed her. Medics would pronounce Elene dead on the scene, and she would be taken to the hospital to get an autopsy done to determine her cause of death. But her results would come back strange. Elene had 8 blunt force impacts to her head and a fractured front tooth. Well, gruesome. None of these injuries were sufficient to cause her to die, so her cause of death would be ruled as undetermined. Unfortunately for police, this meant they wouldn't be able to immediately charge Sam with murder. However, with all the sufficient evidence they'd gathered throughout the course of the investigation, they had enough to charge him with abuse of a corpse. Quickly, they'd receive an arrest warrant, and for the 4th time that month, officers would arrive at Sam's apartment, this time to finally seal his fate.
Hello, morning. We're looking for your grandfather. Is he here? Okay, just 1 second. Just go. Sam, right? Goes by Sam. Okay. Is there anybody else in there?
No, just him. He's sleeping.
Okay. Has he got any guns or anything like that? Okay. Well, he's got a warrant, so we need to talk to him. Just let that officer in. I'll be right there.
Ivan! Step out here. Show us your hand. No.
No.
Hey.
Okay.
What?
Come here. You got a warrant for your arrest. I'll let you smoke that if you just.
Let me put it up again.
Just no. Oh, you can smoke it. All right. All right.
Get my shoes?
Yeah, we'll get them.
You're not.
Yeah. We'll get them. I'll
What am I
put
under arrest for?
Huh?
What am I under arrest for?
I'll explain it here in a minute. All right.
Step second. Use of a corpse.
What the fuck?
Okay, he'll be Pot County. He'll be able to call you in a little bit. Thank you.
Sam's games had finally come to an end. Sam would eventually go to court for the murder of Illene Gowan. Forensic pathologists would spend weeks investigating Elene's death, and eventually, they would discover zipper marks on the neck of Elene, signifying that she was strangled to death, likely by Bremer.